Look at my girl, she looks fantastic. My beautiful baby boy. I'm so sorry I have to do this, son. It's fun to see a story written by Jewish guys where a character gets sent up the river to become a religious figure. Look at his fat little baby fingers. Are you ready to be punched in the heart? Too bad. Remember what I said about the heart and the punching? And I'm devastated. And I mean, of course, Colossus is also devastated. He had to watch this happen right in front of him. She has the cool sword here, so I'm assuming she can do Wild Child stuff already, right? But she didn't do it here, so maybe she can't. Maybe now she's stuck between dimensions. I can't remember if she gets the sword before or after. Ileana's such a cool character. It's crazy she's only been in like one movie. I think she's probably been in 2 movies, even though I hear it's not good. I still kind of want to see it. Superhero movies in different genres is always cool. Just look at Logan. That's a Western. You can understand why he joins the Acolytes, right? All that strength and he still couldn't save his little sister. I bet he feels helpless. I bet he feels like he needs camaraderie. I bet he feels like he needs support from a group. And this is what happens usually if they tend to join groups that will harm them. All types of groups, not even just cults like Colossus here. All sorts of groups. I love the X-Men predicted assholes with hats. This looks really familiar. It's almost like they were trying to tell us something, but what? I can't figure out the message. If only we listened back in the day instead of taking all of the bad lessons and using them as a how-to guide. South Park was right. We should have listened. It's an awful lot of red here. Wonder what that's for. That's Joanna Cargill, whose name sounds suspiciously like another strong, powerful black woman that I know, who is very famous right now. But I think it's honestly just a coincidence. A really good one, and a role that she has in the movie when she's ready to take it, if they make a movie about the Acolytes. But it is a cool coincidence, and she looks fantastic here. I guess it's time for Acolytes roll call as well. At least the members that I know, because this is not a group that I'm like super in on. Of course I knew about Joanna Cargill. I looked up to Joanna as a kid. But Random's one of the main members that I remember the most. He's the most memorable. He has a triple barrel flesh gun. How do you forget that? This guy's name is Random. And yeah, he can do this. He can do other stuff. He can change his body into stuff and get bigger and smaller. He's made of like weird clay skin or something. Like Apocalypse, but way, way, way tuned down. Damn it, Colossus! The one thing we told you not to do is become sad and ostracized and join a group. The one thing I wanted you to not do is be sad and ostracized and misunderstood and then joining a group that may or may not be a cult. Everybody has this weird headgear too. This is absolutely just straight from the comics. What does it do? I don't know. Maybe they said what it did at one point, but it's just to make sure that you know that that's a member of the Acolytes, because they wear the stupid earpieces. It's not for protection. Colossus's ears are fine. Maybe it's so that they can hear their theme music blasting through the area. But because they're like a religious outfit, it's like really loud Creed, My Sacrifice, blaring over the headphones. I never ever thought this design would look good in animation, and yo, mostly by bathing him in a big bright light most of the times, it kind of takes your focus away from how silly a lot of the uniform outfits are. But then when you remember he's actually a paladin from for real paladin times, you're like, oh, okay. No, that makes sense. That this is, yeah, okay. He thinks he's in Warhammer 40k. Dude thinks that's real. These two, Avalanche and Pyro, showing up makes me think that, okay, we're going to deal with this group long term. They're not over yet. And I say that because they become members. Forearms from Ben 10 over there is actually a dude named Kleinstock. He's actually 2 motherfuckers. Like Venom. But not like Venom. Me and my squad have deduced that this lady is Mystique. We have seen that lady getting captured and strung up just in the OP. Her being antagonistic to Professor X and her running X Factor the way she is makes me think, yeah, Mystique. It also helps that I was watching X-Men Evolution this week with my husband. I think we saw the first 3 episodes. This is Mystique's MO. Looking at everybody that's on this airplane, the amount of hairspray is insane. And I'm not just talking about Polaris and Rogue, I'm talking about the Beast as well. Hey, these two are having friendly banter, that's cute. Hey, why'd she say his name like that? Hey, why's she looking at him like that? Oh, girl? Get it, get you some. How many jets is this now? The X-Jet and the X-Mansion just do not have a long lifespan. The insurance on these jets must be insane. Things are wibbly wobbly in the Savage Land. Oh girl, get you some? It's very funny also to see the Joss Whedon trope be flipped and she lands on him. He looks like a great place to land. Look how big he is. That was crazy heroic effort from Polaris, who doesn't really have the powers she needs to not die immediately upon impact with the ground. He's holding on to some radiation, And he might not be able to for long, so dude's a walking bomb. Imagine an escort mission. If you were planning on running a Dungeons and Dragons game, feel free to run that. Feel free to take that idea, it's yours. Hey, why is that water rippling? Oh yeah, I guess because, you know, the magnetic pulse up here is weird and everything is kinda... Oh yeah, there's this. Comrades, maybe you fucked, maybe you not. Kurt tries to win the day with words and reason, and for that I gotta commend him, but it always comes down to a badass X-fight. Especially in a place you're gonna be able to have your powers again. The gang's like, hey, Peter, what's up? Why you here? And Peter's like, I was lonely, depressed, confused, and craved community. And Kurt's like, ah, yeah, we know exactly where that leads. Shouts out to the artist behind this painting of Ileana. She looks fantastic here. I would love a series of comic book covers like this. Seamus is cool and all. Yeah, that's the guy I'm sitting on. His name is Seamus. He's great. He's awesome. And he is the coolest looking one of these guys. And so is Tempo. I love her look. She's literally just what looks like a bullet. Neither of them are the coolest people in this frame. The coolest person in frame and posed on top of the castle like a fucking badass is Gargoyle. Look at her. She's beautiful. Yes, Suvik, whip his ass again! Considering those whips like drain your energy, he could have did the deed right here, right now, but he has to stand trial, habeas corpus. He is a bastard though, and that was funny. Today, Peter gets to sit in the big chair. I love that they already had this like mock courtroom set up. It looks more like a throne. It's so that Exodus could sit here and pretend to be the Emperor from Warhammer, because again, he's a big fan. Colossus gets to sit here today because he's a special boy. When they show the crowd, the only people that I recognize is Barnacle, who's that dude over there with the barnacles on him. That's him, that's Barnacle. You could tell as a kid, I only really like the weird, freaky mutants. They stood out to me a lot. Stop everything! Gargoyle shows up again, let's go! Again, on the castle, looking fire. So this episode reminds me of an episode of Star Trek. One of the best episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. This is not an episode of Red Letter Media, but check them out, they're fantastic. Gotta give the little guys the rub. But it's an episode called The Measure of a Man, where Jean-Luc Picard has to defend Data because a dude wants to harvest his brain. Their argument is that Data is alive. Even though he's an android, his intelligence has surpassed that. He is a living being. And Riker has to stand on the other side as the prosecutor to that episode. But then again, there are a lot of similarities between the two shows, in that they both have a very similar message. So I'm a big fan of them kind of borrowing that plot here in this way, and intertwining it with problems that we have to deal with in our real lives, which is also something big that they did in Star Trek. I think they did a great job with it. I love the Colossus wasn't swayed by Nightcrawler's attempt to gain enough sympathy to save his brother, because at the end of the day, Big Eric let us know, some people are just evil, I don't know what to tell you. Dude has a great motive for being the kind of person he is. Cool motive, still guilty. I mentioned I was watching X-Men Evolution. The episode I just watched was with Shadowcat and her family not accepting her for who she was. And here we have Creed's family not accepting him for who he is. Because things like this happens in both directions. And it's there to show you that we're all the same, brother. We're all dealing with the same stuff. I commend Nightcrawler for trying his best to try to save somebody, even if they're far gone. I think we all need to probably do that. Because what happens to people who feel isolated, depressed, and confused? Exodus jumps the gun here, which causes everything to go left, but, I mean, dude was not gonna disagree with you. And he was just worried that he would. He can't have that, you know. He is the Emperor of Mankind. What he wants to happen is going to happen. Fight scene commence! Hit his ass again! Do it for me! And just like that, the Acolytes made an enemy of the coolest motherfuckers around. They're so cool. They're so cool, they're riding pterodactyls of some sort. I don't think they call them pterodactyls anymore. I think they have a new name. Quetzalcoatlus? These guys don't look big enough to be Quetzalcoatlus. But something like that. I don't know. Tell me the name of these dinosaurs down in the comments. They're cool as hell though, and I would also want to ride one. Once you make an entrance like this, the rest of the Acolytes should have stood down. They were like, damn, that's badass. That's obviously a sign from God right there. It's interesting that we see a war of ideologies here. All Christian ideologies, all at war with each other. Again, we're all the same deep down. Okay, I jumped the gun, my bad. To me, my X-Men! To me, my X-Men! Oh yeah, Bishop, don't you still have to deal with that? Hell yeah! You didn't even have to ask. This is Spore. That's his name. Spore, you just met the people. You can't just start getting naked, brother. We back on our Marvel Rivals bullshit, let's go. They kept all the cool freaky mutants until later. They were holding them off for some reason. But this is your boy Francisco Milan. He looks so cool. He can do stuff with electromagnetic pulses. Him and I think the Bullet Girl from earlier, whose name escapes me at the moment, but I do believe they both have powers over electromagnetic field. So like the Savage Land is a perfect place for these guys. Mistake. And the way he put his hand on his shoulder, it's like he wanted to punch this guy for a long fucking time. I didn't have teleporter sword fight on my bingo card, but after the Nightcrawler scene in the last season, they were ready for another teleporter fight. This is dope as hell, I'm sorry, and I love his effects. I love that Exodus kind of burns away and then reappears. Very similar dudes. Very similar dudes. If placed into the same situation, they'd become each other again. We're all children of Mother Earth, brother. Rogue did pretty well recovering from her concussion. I bet this feels good. This was just a shitty thing to do. This was so messed up, Beast. Did you have to add insult to injury like this? Man was already punched in the face by Rogue. This no-look spinning clothesline was badass. But I'm sure he's making all sorts of noise while he flies directly at Colossus. Just because his ears are made of metal don't mean they don't work. Also, Colossus would have made a killing in the wrestling business. Are you kidding me? Spider-Man doesn't know how to work, but I'm sure Colossus would make some real money. That's the kind of positive group he can join. The wrestling industry. You know what, on second thought, forget what I said. And then, when you start losing, cheat. Nightcrawler sword fighting with his tail is so dope. It gives Zoro from One Piece a run for his money. I would love to see those two in a fight, actually. Or in a death battle or something. Stop doing Sonic vs. Dragon Ball Z for 5 minutes and actually do something cool. Creed getting the final blow on Exodus is lame, but it kind of makes sense for where they want the story to go, I guess. It will definitely cause more... It'll definitely cause more dissension. It'll definitely cause more mutants to hate this guy, and more people to join the Acolytes. Even though he's dead, I don't think his dream is. And he might not even be dead. Nobody stays dead in comic books. But it's so sad to see the Emperor of Mankind brought low by a random Cadian with a bolter gun. Although, that would be a pretty good way for him to go out in Warhammer for real. Like if a random Cadian just said enough of this and just put him down. While that D&D idea I gave you guys earlier was absolutely free, this one for Warhammer is not. Please contact me with the cartoonishly large sack of money, please. Nightcrawler and his brother go for a walk in the snow, and goddamn, that motherfucker cold. The lengths you have to go through to drive Kurt to this, to doing the Batman, I don't gotta kill you, but I don't gotta save you, leave you in the snowstorm stuff, is wild. You know you're a piece of shit. But he's not gonna learn anything from this. If anything, this is gonna make him worse. In the next scene where they were like, oh yeah, they found him wandering around in the blizzard, I was pissed. But you had him beat Exodus, so you can't have him die that easy. You have to have him become stronger and more of a pain in the ass before you actually take him out. He beat an upper mid-carder and now solidified himself as the top of the upper mid-card. He is probably going to be your main villain going forward, because if he becomes president, he's going to get crazy political power. Now you're not just fighting a physical fight, but a political one. Because unfortunately, he's kind of a martyr now. Even though he survived, it's weird. If the present has taught us anything, people are looking for something to believe in. It doesn't even have to make sense. It doesn't even have to be the truth. One of the members of the flock have returned home to the shepherd. It's good to see Colossus back with the mutants. We can now achieve fastball special. Colossus says the funniest thing in the episode here, in that Ileana would have seen the best in Creed, and I think that's very funny. Because we all know Ileana. She's a shit disturber. I think that Peter is imagining her as a lot more sweet and pure than she actually is. Like, she's my precious baby sister who can do no wrong. And Ileana is actually like middle fingers in the air, smashing things, is not the same person at all, but that's how he sees her, that's how he perceives her, and that's sweet. Welcome back to the X-Men, Colossus. I can't wait to see him in the new X-Men uniform. I'm sure they're gonna design one that looks dope for Colossus. Don't put him in a jacket, just give him a slutty, sleeveless turtleneck like Cloud Strife wears, so that you can see his big old metal arms sticking out the side. This episode felt important, not just because of the themes and stuff, which are also very important, but because of where this is gonna take the X-Men. I feel like this is a massive turning point, a quiet turning point. If you know someone who's sad, confused, and feeling isolated, reach out to them. It will mean more to them than you think. I love you.